Hi.
Hi, Rashid. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining. Um, Vinod, shall we go ahead?
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for joining this session. Um, in today's session, I just want to focus on the demo part. So I want to discuss about what is this product CyberArk. You are all here to learn about this CyberArk product. So I'll bring up my screen and with the slides, I want to explain why do we want to learn this CyberArk product and what is this product and what are the features that we had related to this CyberArk product. Okay, so I have around 7+ years of experience in this industry. I have trained successfully a lot of candidates from all over the world, and I hope I can deliver a good session for you guys as well. Let me bring up my screen. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we
Good.
can.
Yeah. So CyberArk pass administration, code pass review. Pass administration. Can any one of you tell me what does pass stands for? Any guess? PAS stands for. Any one of you. What does pass stands for?
Privileged access
PAS.
system.
Privileged access system. You are almost there. Any other guess? It's not access system. P stands for privileged. Very good. What does A and S? What does pass? Any others? Any
Is
other
it like,
guess?
is it ad service?
It's not answer. Okay, thanks for guessing. It's privileged account security. PAS stands for privileged accounts security. Okay, basically this CyberArk product will deals with privileged accounts security. And next question, what are privileged accounts? Any idea? So okay, we'll talking in general. What is the meaning of privileged? What is the meaning of privilege? In general, what is the meaning of privilege? Any one of you?
Someone who
Those who,
has
Advantage?
Yes, Nirnaya, can
yeah,
you
those who get extra services than other users or other people. Special
extra
services.
services? Extra
Special services.
services. Okay, so privilege means a special permission or a special right. Okay, privilege means a special permission or a special right. So privileged accounts. What are privileged accounts? Any one of you? What are privileged accounts?
Like those could be the super accounts or analytic accounts, or as well as like domain and local administrator accounts.
Absolutely, Ravindra. So accounts which are having special permissions or privileges like domain admin accounts or local admin accounts, etc. Those are the privileged accounts. I can give you examples in the next slides. So this CyberArk product basically deals with those privileged accounts security. In every organization, we have to protect these privileged accounts. Okay. So next slide. What are the objectives of this today's session? In today's session, I just want to explain you what is this core pass product, CyberArk product, and we'll see the architecture and flows. What are different flows that CyberArk product can help customers in order to minimize the risks. And we can also see what are the common attack methods happening in the market and how this CyberArk PaaS solution can be used to minimize that exposure. And we'll discuss about these CyberArk components, what are the different components available in CyberArk, like enterprise password vault, PSM. um, any one of you, what is the abbreviation for PSM? Any idea? Describe the PSM. PSM stands for?
Privilege session management.
Yes, privilege session management. This is one of the component in CyberArk which is responsible for monitoring and recording. We'll discuss later. And PTA, any guess? What does PTA stands for? Anyone of you, what does PTA stands for? I know P stands for privilege. So it's privilege threat analytics. Privilege threat analytics, it is one of the component in CyberArk. So we'll discuss what are these EPV, PSM and PT in the further slides. Next, privileged account security. Okay. So privileged accounts are the accounts that holds the keys to the IT kingdom. So every organization have these privileged accounts. Okay. So we are talking about privileged accounts, privileged accounts, privileged accounts. So I can give you general example of what is privileged account. Okay. So for example, if we have purchased a new laptop, okay, and we have installed a OS, whether it may be Windows 2012 or whatever, 2019, whatever maybe. So after installing the OS, how we are logging into our laptops, which accounts we are using? Any one of you? We bought a new laptop, we have installed OS, and which account we are going to use in order to log into our laptop? Any one of you? How we are going to log into our laptop for the first time?
Email and password.
Email and password. No, email we are
Account.
using it for web
Username,
access.
username and password.
Username and password. You are absolutely correct. Can you give me in a little more further? What is that username and password?
The local administrator.
Administrator, very good. Okay, so whenever we want to log into our laptop, we are using an administrator account. Okay, so if you will give the username administrator and you will give the password, then we are logging onto the machine. And there is also one more user called, there is also one more user where we can able to access our laptop. Can any one of you tell me what is that user apart from the administrator account?
Guest.
Very good. Guest account. Okay, guest user. Okay, we can also log into our laptop, same laptop, using guest user account. Now tell me, what is the difference between this administrator account and guest user account? What will happen if I log in with administrator account onto our machine, or if I log in with a guest user account? What is the difference between these two accounts? Any one of you?
The extra privileges.
Extra privileges. Very good, Ravindra. Extra privileges means if I log into our mission with an administrator account, it has more privileges. Means I can able to do configurations, I can able to modify files, I can able to install software if I log in with an administrator account. But whereas if I log in with a guest user account, this account does not have enough privileges. Okay, this account does not have enough privileges. This account may not be able to do some configurations on our operating system, Windows operating system. So in this example, I can say administrator account is a privileged account. Okay, so in every organization, there are Windows systems, databases, Linux devices, Cisco routers and applications, etc. So in order to access these endpoints, there are certain privileged accounts that the organizations will use, and we have to protect these privileged accounts. For example, okay, I got the password of your laptop, administrator account password. Somehow I got your laptop credentials, admin credentials. So what are all things I can do? Any one of you? I got your admin password of your laptop. So
You
what are all
can
things I
misuse
can?
it. You can
I can
misuse it. You
use it.
can
Yes,
download the
depend.
software, do anything.
Yes, download the software. I can copy all your data, or I can delete your data, or I can do some configurations on your machine, whatever maybe. The control is in my hand if I got your admin account credentials. Okay. So we need to protect these privileged accounts. Now, general question, how many of you have changed your passwords of your machines, of your laptops, or whatever maybe the devices that you are using? How often you are going to change your passwords?
I do rarely.
Every month.
Rarely. Every month. Deepan, are you sure every month you are going to change your password?
No, I said rarely. I even don't
Oh,
change it.
okay. Yes. So most of us will not going to change the passwords. Okay. So we'll simply put on static password and we are going to use that password for period of time. Okay. So it's always better to change the passwords. So this CyberArk product using a component called CPM, we'll discuss later. So with the help of that component, we are going to rotate the passwords automatically without human intervention. Based on the policy we are going to define, this CyberArk will automatically rotate the passwords of those endpoints. Right. So now we have seen privileged accounts. So we discussed on a Windows server. On a Windows server, the privileged account, the default privileged account name is administrator. Similarly, for the SSH devices, if I talk about Unix or Linux servers, can anyone tell me what is the privileged account existing on a Unix server? What is the default privileged account? What we call that account name?
Root.
Root. Very good. So root is a superuser account used for accessing the SSH devices. Very good. Can anyone tell me what is the default account for a database? What is the default account name for accessing a database? Any guess? Any idea? For Windows, we call it as administrator. For Unix servers, we call it as a root. For accessing databases, what is the default account? What is the default privileged account? Any guess?
User?
Would that be sys?
What is that username?
Just
We
user.
call it as SA or DB admin. SA or DB admin based on the Oracle, what type of database, Oracle database or SQL database. So SA. And similarly for network devices, particularly Cisco devices, any guess what is the name of the privileged account on a network device, Cisco network device?
Admin?
It's not admin. The
SID.
account, the account name is enable, ENABLE, enable. The default name is enable. So these are the different types of privileged accounts existing on the endpoints. In every organization, they have these endpoints. So we need to protect these privileged accounts. So this slide clearly gives us privileged accounts are the keys to the IT kingdom. Example, on a Windows server, it is administrator. On a Unix, we call it as a root. On a Cisco device, we call it as enable, ENABLE. On the databases, we call it as DB admin or SA account. So now CyberArk PaaS solution enables organizations to secure, manage, control, and monitor all activities associated with privileged accounts. This is the exact definition of CyberArk, right? So you are all here to learn about this CyberArk product. Okay, so if you met a friend and you are discussing, like you are mentioning, like I'm learning CyberArk product, then the next question what he will ask is, what is CyberArk, right? He will ask you about what is this product or not.
Yes.
What's your answer? What's your answer? What's your answer? Any one of you?
Information security firm.
information security firm
that provides privileged access security solution to other organizations.
Okay, you are almost there. You are almost there,
It
Nirnaya.
is a tool that helps to manage the access.
Yes. So this is the actual definition. CyberArk solution enables organizations to secure, manage, control, and monitor all activities associated with privileged accounts. Means this product helps organizations to provide security to the activities associated with the privileged accounts. Means we are going to manage their privileged accounts of an IT organization. Using our product, they are going to gain more control. So we'll see how we are going to secure, manage, control, and monitor in the next slides. But this is the actual definition of CyberArk. CyberArk is a product solution. It will help organizations to secure, control, and monitor all the privileged accounts activities. Okay, so in next slides we'll see how we are going to secure, manage, control, and monitor. Right. So this slide, privileged accounts create a huge attack surface. So privileged accounts exist everywhere. We discuss right now on the operating systems, we call it as system administrators, etc. So privileged accounts exist in third-party service providers. Privileged accounts exist in applications, in business units, and social networking sites, etc. Right. Can someone give me an example of what are these applications, how we are going to access applications? Any examples? What are applications? What are applications? Any one of you?
Software systems to support your business process.
Yes, software systems to support business process. Yes, in order to access these applications, whatever may be the applications, whether it is telecom applications or whatever may be. So in order to access these applications, we need an user and account and password. So that accounts are also called as privileged accounts, where we are accessing their particular application. So privileged accounts exist everywhere. So for example, in the business users, so can someone give me an examples of what are business users? Any examples of business sectors? Anyone of you? Examples of business sectors. Okay, so examples of business sectors, I can say like HR industry or banking industry, insurance, banking or insurance. In order to access their particular business sectors, they need a privileged accounts in order to access their business units, industrial sector or insurance sector, etc. So social networking, we are all familiar with social networking. Can someone give me examples of the social networking account managers? Any one of you? We are already aware of it. What are the
Instagram,
social networking? Instagram, okay.
Facebook,
What else? Facebook,
TikTok.
right. Yes. So in order to access all these social networking sites or account managers, we need an username and password. That is privileged account name and password. That is our own admin account for accessing that particular application. So what I mean to say is privileged accounts exist everywhere in the applications, business sector, social networking, third parties, services, providers, etc. So privileged accounts, we need to protect the privileged accounts. So privileged accounts exist everywhere. We need to manage these privileged accounts. Right. So this slide says APT intruders, advanced persistent threat. This is a broad term defined to categorize how the attacks are happening in the market and what are the causes for those attacks. So this advanced persistent threats tells us 100% of the breaches involved in stolen credentials. Means what are all the breaches that are happening in the market are all because of stolen credentials, means getting the passwords or getting the credentials of these privileged accounts from the endpoint. So what are those privileged accounts? We discussed already, that is domain administrator accounts or service accounts with domain privileges, local administrator accounts, and what are all the shared accounts. So this advanced persistent threat tells us 100% of breaches are because of stolen credentials, passwords of these privileged accounts, right?
I got a quick question on this. So
Yes, please.
just like the end user of the system, right? When you say endpoints, those are the physical instruments like router, for example, or any other, even your PC, right? Which are used by the end users, like the business users, developers, and all that. Can I safely refer those as endpoints when you say endpoint?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely,
thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Right. So next, pass the hash vulnerability. Pass the hash vulnerability. See here, this is a common attack. So on every operating system, Windows system, we have local security authority subsystem. We call it as LAS, local security authority subsystem. For example, this is my PC. If I search LSAS LAS, sorry. Okay. LAS. Okay. So on a mission, we have local authority subsystem. Okay, on every mission. So the passwords will get stored under this LAS, local security authority subsystem. So whenever attacker wants to attack the particular password of a particular privileged account, they will try to gain access. Hash is nothing but a password. Hash is nothing but a password. They will try to get the password of the account, privileged account, which is stored in the local security authority subsystem. So they will use some third-party tools like Mimikaz in order to expose those passwords. Okay, and they will gain control over the network. So in this example, on a Windows operating system, we have local security authority subsystem where the passwords are getting stored. The attacker will target this password which is stored in the LAS. Once he gain control over that password, and he will move laterally within that particular system. This is how the general pass the hash vulnerability happens. Okay. In the next slide, this is very, very important. Privilege is at the center of the attack cycle. Privilege is at the center of the attack cycle. See here, in this diagram, we have internal threats, external threats, and escalate privileges, disrupt business, exfiltrate data, perform reconnaissance, and move laterally. This is the flow, general attack cycle. Now can anyone tell me what are internal threats or what are external threats? In general, what is the difference between internal threats and external threats? Any one of you?
Employees inside the company would be internal, and anybody who doesn't work for the company but somehow have access, like vendors or
Third
B2B
party.
maybe. Yeah.
Very good, Bhuvan. Very good. So internal threats are within the organization, whereas external threats are from the outside of organization, from the third party vendors or etc. So whether it is internal threat or external threat, their target is to escalate privileges. What does it mean? What is escalate privileges? Any one of you? What is their target? Internal attackers or external attackers? What is their target? What is escalate privileges meaning? So escalate privileges means to gain control over the privileged accounts, to get the passwords or credentials of the privileged accounts. Okay, so that is their target. So once they got the credentials or passwords of those privileged accounts, their intention, their motive is either to disrupt the business, or they can able to exfiltrate the data of an IT organization. This is their intention. This is their motive. Okay. So once they got credentials, once they escalate the privileges of the privileged accounts existing on the endpoints, they will perform reconnaissance. What is the meaning of reconnaissance? Any one of you? A general English meaning. What is the meaning of reconnaissance? Perform reconnaissance means. Any one of you? What is reconnaissance?
Observation.
Observation. Okay, so in other terminology we can call it as search operation. Okay, like in a military, if we take a general example, a soldier will search for enemy, so same way, once the attackers got gain over the control over the privileged accounts existing in an IT organization, they will perform reconnaissance, means they will perform search operation whether this particular account is having access to any other endpoints within that particular domain or not, and they will move laterally within the organization, and they will gain control over all the assets in the organization. This is the attack cycle. Okay. Next slide. CyberArk breaks this attack chain. So how this CyberArk PAS product, privileged account security product, will break this attack chain? See here, internal threat or external threat. CyberArk, if an organization is going to use this product, it is not allowing the hackers to gain control over the privileged accounts. Okay, passwords of the privileged accounts. Even if they gain the control, it is not allowing them to escalate the privileges. So it is very easy to show in the diagram, but whenever we are discussing more about this product, we will come to know which component is responsible for what action. Okay, so this CyberArk, using this CyberArk product, it will remove the insecure storage of privileged credentials, making reconnaissance and lateral movement difficult. Okay, and we have different workflows available in CyberArk. Workflows are nothing but policies where we can able to change the passwords immediately based on the policies we are going to define. And we can also detect potentially malicious access and seal of the potential breaches. So we will discuss what are these workflows, how we are going to securely store the privileged accounts in our CyberArk in the further slides. So CyberArk is going to break this attack chain, and it is helping organizations to protect their privileged accounts. Next slide. Right. CyberArk protective protection, detection, and response. The three terms: protection, detection, and response. In this slide, you can see either insider or external attackers or hackers will target the privileged accounts. So privileged accounts, we have seen it is existing everywhere: industrial corridor, endpoints, network devices, social media, databases, etc. So their target is these privileged accounts credentials. So how CyberArk is going to protect? Only authorized users, individual accountability, limit scope of privilege. So authorized users means, for example, if you are from Windows team and the other person is from Linux team or Unix team, okay, so if they are going to use this product, if they log into our product, okay, so Windows person can able to see only his servers, only his privileged accounts, whereas the Unix team member can able to see his only accounts, root accounts. Okay, so Windows team cannot able to see the Linux accounts, or Linux person cannot able to see the Windows accounts. That we call it as individual accountability, or only authorized users can able to access. So such kind of protection we can do it for the privileged accounts of those endpoints. Okay, next, detection. So with the help of PTA, privileged threat analytics, we can continuously detect the suspicious activities happening, or with the help of PSM model, that is privileged session management, we can continuously monitor all the session activities happening in the organization. And we can also provide real-time response. So using session termination, the session will get terminated automatically if we think any suspicious activity is happening on so and so particular privileged account, and we'll have full forensic records of activity. All activities will be audited in the CyberArk product. Okay. So this slide, privileged accounts exist everywhere. So we can also use third-party tools in order to have a more enhanced security features along with the CyberArk. So in an organization, along with CyberArk, they can able to integrate MFA factor, multi-factor authentication with different products, or we can able to forward our logs, syslogs, to the syslog server, that is Splunk or etc. So this slide basically tells us CyberArk can support to integrate with the other third-party vendor tools like MFA or for monitoring Splunk, ArcSight, etc. Right. Comprehensive controls on privileged activity, lockdown credentials, isolate and control sessions, continuously monitor. What does lockdown credentials? What is the meaning of lockdown? Anyone of you? It's not COVID lockdown. Don't mention it's a COVID lockdown. What is lockdown? Anyone of you? What is the meaning of lockdown? Lockdown credentials.
So nobody can use the credentials.
Yes. Yes, Deepan. So nobody can use the credentials. So lockdown credentials means in CyberArk, we have one workflow, we have one policy called check-in, check-out policy. The name of the policy is check-in, check-out. Check-in, check-out policy means, right. So I'll tell you check-in, check-out. What is the meaning of check-in, check-out? In general, what is the meaning of check-in, check-out? Can you give me any one example, general? Where
Sign
does
in,
we
sign
use
out.
this check-in, check-out? Sign in, sign
Sign in
out.
the user account, log out the user account.
Okay, I'm asking about in general. Okay, not related to technology. Where does we use this check-in, check-out terms?
In the grocery market or somewhere.
In
Grocery
hotel,
market, hotels, very good, hotels or libraries, etc. Okay, for example, in a library, okay, I went into some library and I went into a particular rack and I have I have picked up a particular book which is available in a particular rack. Okay, and I have taken that book, and the same time the other person came to the same rack. Okay, will that book will be available or not? He wants that book. That book is
No.
not available because I have already checked in that book. Okay, so until and I replaces that book in the same rack, that book will be available for the second person so that he can able to check out. Okay, so similar way in the hotels, we are always check in and check out. That room will be occupied. Once we vacate the room will be available to the other person. So apply the same policy to here. For example, if two people are from the same Windows team, they are going to use some administrator account. So if I apply this check-in, check-out policy in CyberArk, so whenever the particular user, the first user who accessed this account, so this account will get locked. This account will get locked. We can see the lock symbol in the CyberArk. Okay. So during that time, if a second person wants to access that particular account, he wants to log into the Windows machine with the same administrator account. So CyberArk will not allow you to log into that same machine because the account is already locked. The password is already locked. Okay, so in that case, whenever that first user releases that account, or we as a CyberArk admins have permission to release that account, when the account gets released, then only the second person can able to use that account. Means we are providing a security feature, like at the same time, same users, different users cannot able to access the same privileged account. So we are setting a policy called lockdown credentials. That password will be used only for a single time. Okay, so that is the meaning of lockdown credentials. So we are going to lock down passwords or SSH keys. SSH keys are nothing but we can access the endpoints, that is particularly Linux devices. Instead of passwords, we can also use SSH keys, that is public private key pairs. And next, isolate and control sessions. Isolate and control sessions. Okay, so isolate means separate. Isolate means separate. So using PSM, that is privileged session manager in CyberArk, we are going to isolate the sessions and we are going to provide more controls over the sessions. And similarly, with the help of PSM, we can continuously monitor all the sessions, and all the recordings will be happen with the help of privileged session manager product in CyberArk. We'll see in the further slides what is this privileged session management, etc. These are the privilege control. So this is a privileged account security. So combining together EPV, Enterprise Password Vault. EPV stands for Enterprise Password Vault. This is the main component of CyberArk, where all these privileged accounts passwords are successfully getting stored in the digital vault server. We call it as a password vault or digital vault or enterprise password vault. This is the heart of the CyberArk product, where all the privileged accounts information are securely getting stored on our digital vault server. Vault is nothing like a bank. Okay, and PSM, privileged session manager. PSM stands for privileged session manager. This component will helps customers to monitor and record the sessions. And PTA, privileged threat analytics. This product will helps to detect and prevent the suspicious activities happening on the particular privileged accounts. And similarly, we have advanced products, that is IAM, Application Identity Manager, which can be used to secure DevOps and App Secrets Management, and OPM, On-Demand Privileged Manager, which is used for NX control for accessing the Linux devices. And similarly, we have a product called EPM, Endpoint Privileged Manager, where we can use this product to apply control and credential theft protection. Okay, so this core PaaS solution will include 3: Enterprise Password Vault, PSM, and PTA. So if an organization wants to have these features, like if they want to manage DevOps secret management, then they will go with IAM. If they want to manage NX least privilege control on the Unix devices, then they will go with implementing the on-demand privilege manager. Similarly, if they want to protect endpoints, they will go with endpoint privilege manager. But these three are the heart of the solution, where we can provide security features and controls using the CyberArk product. And this CyberArk product can be deployed in on-premises, hybrid, and cloud environment, AWS and Azure as well. Right. So Enterprise Password Vault contains Vault CPM. What does CPM stands for? Any one of you? What does CPM stands for? CPM is a component in CyberArk. What does this stands for? Any guess?
Centralized privilege management.
Centralized privilege management? No. CPM stands for Central Policy Manager. Central Policy Manager. So this component is responsible for password management. Okay, so if I set a password policy like 30 days password policy or 60 days password policy, this component will automatically rotate the passwords of those privileged accounts, whatever may be the endpoints. Okay, so for now, just remember CPM is a component in CyberArk which is responsible for password management. That's it. Next, PVWA. What does PVWA stands for? Any one of you guess? PVWA.
Password, password web access. It's a vault web
Password.
access.
Yes, very good. Very good, Bikram. Password Vault Web Access. This is a component in CyberArk. As the name itself indicates, web access. So this is an interface which is used for accessing the CyberArk product. PVWA is a web access. Password Vault Web Access. It's a web page where all the users or we as a CyberArk admins will log into this interface every day, and we can able to see our privileged accounts inside our tool, and the users will able to access their servers from our CyberArk product using this web access. In the next slides, we'll see how this web access looks like. And PSM, we already discussed. PSM stands for Privileged Session Manager, which is responsible for monitoring and recording all the activities associated with the privileged accounts. And PTA, Privileged Threat Analytics. So it will detect and analyze the privileged accounts suspicious activities, and it can also helps customers to terminate the sessions of the endpoints. So advanced core products, that is AAM, OPM and EPM, on-demand privilege manager, endpoint privilege manager. It depends upon the organization requirement. So if they want to protect the application, then they will go with AM model or EPM model, etc. These are the advanced solutions. Right. So now our focus is on core PaaS solution. So these are the actual definitions of the components that we discussed so far. Digital Vault, we can also call it as Enterprise Password Vault, EPV, or Password Vault, PV, that is Password Vault, or Digital Vault, whatever may be. So this is the heart of the CyberArk solution, where all the privileged accounts will be stored securely. So a hardened and secure digital vault used to store privileged accounts information based on the hardened Windows Server platform. Okay. What is the meaning of hardening? Any one of you? A hardened and secure digital vault. What is hardening? What is hardened? In general terminology, what is hardened?
Making it strong.
Making strong. Okay. What is that strong that we are doing? So we are going to
Security.
install, yes, security, very good. Okay, so hardening means it will restrict the firewalls, or it will block the unnecessary operating system services. For example, on my machine, if I search with services, so there are a lot of operating system services that are up and running. Okay, so these are all, we call it as services that are required in order to operate this operating system on my machine. Okay, when we hardened a server, when we harden the OS, so it will block these unnecessary operating system services which are actually not required. So our digital vault, we are going to harden our digital vault, and it is a highly secured server where all our privileged accounts information will be stored. So I'm repeatedly saying privileged accounts information we are storing, privileged accounts information we are storing. So means we are going to onboard those Windows accounts, Linux accounts, network device accounts, application accounts, shared accounts, or whatever databases privileged accounts into our CyberArk product, and these accounts will be securely stored in our digital vault server. Okay, right. So next, CPM, we discussed. CPM stands for Central Policy Manager. This component is responsible for password management, password changes on the devices. For example, I have onboarded some Linux device root account and I applied a policy like 30 days. Okay. So after 30 days, the password of that particular root account will be automatically changed by this CPM component. We no need to reset the password. This CyberArk component within the CyberArk CPM will successfully rotate the passwords based on the policies we are going to define. We'll see practically in our sessions. We'll focus on applying those policies on different endpoints, and we'll see how CPM is going to rotate the passwords. Next, PVWA, we discussed it's a web interface for accessing our tool, CyberArk product. Web interface utilized by users to gain access to their privileged accounts. So means every user will log into our CyberArk PVWA, password vault web access, and they can able to see their privileged accounts. So from there, they will click on connect and they will log into their devices. Okay, that is PVWA. And PSM, it is responsible for monitoring and recording of privileged accounts activities. And PrivateArk client, this is not a component. This is an interface used to access the digital vault. To perform the administrative tasks or operations, we are going to use PrivateArk client for logging onto the digital vault server. And PTA, privilege threat analytics, it will monitor and detect the malicious accounts activities behavior of particular privileged account. So for now, just remember what is the definition and what is the functionality of component in a single line. Okay, CPM, password management, PSM, recording, PVWA, it's a web interface for accessing PVWA, and vault, it is secure storage for privileged accounts. That's it. Next, yeah, we discussed secure vault. It's a hardened vault where all the privileged accounts or passwords will be stored securely. So in general, if we want to give an example of what is digital vault, so in our daily life, we can take it as an example of a bank. Okay. So in a bank, let us say we have a locker. Okay. In a bank, we have a locker. So first, what do we need to have in order to access the material or the content which is stored in the locker? So we have a locker in a bank and we have kept some our valuables in the locker. Okay. First, what do you need to have? First, what do we need to have in order to access that locker? Any one of you in general?
Key.
Okay, very good. Key. So first you need to have a key in order to access your locker, or anything else before key?
I think you have to have the account before getting a
Very
bulk.
yes. Account in the sense, first we need to have an account in the bank with our username and password. So then only we will be authenticated to the bank, and then we can able to access our key of our locker, and then we can access the material, right? So in the same way, is CyberArk, we have a digital vault server where privileged accounts are getting stored inside the vault server in the form of safe. We call it as safe, S-A-F-E. Safe is nothing but logical container. Safe is nothing but a logical container. The next slides we'll see what is safe. So all the privileged accounts will be securely stored in the safes, and these safes will be stored on our digital vault server as a locker. It's like nothing but a box. Next, CPM. So Central Policy Manager changes passwords as per the organizational requirements. So before this CPM, that is for non-AD platforms, is a manual process. So if you want to change the passwords, we need to log into the device, we need to reset the password, etc. So using this CyberArk CPM, the CPM will automatically rotate passwords. You can see here in the password management section, required password change for every X days. So in this slide, we have defined it as 90 days. Means for every 90 days, CPM will log into their endpoints automatically, and it will generate some random password, and it will bring back and store that password in our digital vault servers. So it is responsible for password management, and we can define the password complexity rules. Later we'll see how we can able to set these password length, minimum characters, etc. How we can define those on the CPM part. Yeah, so this is how the PWA page looks like. Password vault web access. It's an interface. Every day, organizations who are using this product, so all end users and we as a CyberArk admins also will log into this PWA interface in order to gain control over the privileged accounts, in order to gain access to our privileged accounts. This is how PWA page looks like. In our practical sessions, we'll see in detail. Okay, so enterprise password vault, this is the actual solution overview. See here, enterprise password vault, this is the main component. Users or IT administrators will log into CyberArk product with the help of PWA web interface. So once they log into PWA, they can able to see their privileged accounts, because we are going to onboard their privileged accounts and securely store in our digital vault, and they can able to retrieve the credentials, or they can able to access their endpoints using our CyberArk tool. And this CPM component is responsible for managing these passwords, means rotating the passwords. This is the general flow of CyberArk. Okay, and these components will talk to the digital vault server. This is the main component of CyberArk. PSM. So we have seen isolate, control, and monitor. So this PSM session management will isolate the sessions. Isolate the sessions means, so if you want to take an RDP from my machine, that is remote desktop connection. Okay, so if I click on remote desktop connection, I need to give the computer name or IP address and the privileged account name. Username is privileged account name, and I will log into that particular endpoint. This is a direct RDP connection. So using CyberArk PSM, it will isolate the session. Means the session will go from our CyberArk PSM server. Means the sessions are getting isolated and more control will be in place. Instead of direct RDP access, we are accessing the endpoints using our CyberArk PSM, so that we can have a more control in place. Okay, and also we can see all the recordings that is happening on that particular privileged account activity. So this is the flow. PSM acts as a jump server, stopping malware contamination of target servers. So direct RDP connection, it will block. The sessions will go from our CyberArk PSM server, and from our PSM server, the sessions will be initiated to the endpoints, that is databases or Unix devices or whatever may be. Okay, so users will log into PWA, they can able to see their privileged accounts, they will click on connect, and in the back end, the connection will go from our CyberArk PSM server, and the session will be established. This is the general flow. So users will log into PWA, password vault web access interface.
I got a quick question on that. So is that more
Yes.
like a jump server?
Yes, it's a jump server.
Okay,
It's a jump
thank you.
server. So users will log into PWA, they will click on connect, and in the back end, our CyberArk app users, that is PSM app and gateway users, will fetch the credential from the vaults, and it will establish sessions to their endpoints, whatever may be the endpoints. This is general flow of PSM. Okay, practically we'll see how the PSM works whenever we are onboarding some privileged accounts. So once we log into PWA, there is a tab called monitoring tab. So in the monitoring tab, we can see search for sessions, recordings, search for recordings. This is how the recordings see here. This is the particular privileged account, that is Vault Admin 01. And here Linux user 01 is a privileged account for accessing so device 10.0.1.6, etc. And we can play recording, download recording, or we can save the text recording. Okay, so means we have accessed a particular endpoint with an administrator account. on a particular Windows server, and what are all the things that we have done on the server. For example, if we went into the configuration file, or if we open the PowerShell and if we are running some commands, so everything will get recorded. Okay, so with the help of this CyberArk PSM, privilege session management, and we can able to see all the recordings activities here, and all these recordings are securely stored on our digital vault server. Okay, so if we in this slide you can see here text recording with point in time video playback. So this is a Linux session, so we can able to play the recording of a particular Linux command that is issued, or we can able to view the entire recording of that particular terminal session. Okay, right. So that's all about this session. I hope I have given a clarity for you about this product. What is this product? So to summarize what we have learned so far, what are privileged accounts, what is the common attack cycle, how CyberArk is breaking this attack cycle, and what are the different components available in CyberArk, what does Vault stands for, CPM stands for, PSM stands for, and what is their functionality of those components in a single line definition, and we have seen those interfaces as well. I hope everyone are clear with this explanation about this product. Any questions? Please let me
Can
know.
you show us the slide? What does those PSM and all of them stands for?
Yeah. Privilege session management. So this is our PSM server. The sessions will go from the PSM server to the endpoint. Instead of direct RDP access, this PSM server acts as a jump server in CyberArk.
Yeah, I know. I was wanting to see you had an abbreviation and definition, each one line definition for each abbreviation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this one.
Isolates and monitors the privileged account activity.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all for today's session. Vinod, are you there? Hi, Vinod.
He's in mute, I think.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I forgot. I must have missed your name.
My name is Vishnu.
Okay.
Sorry, I did not introduce his name. So my name is Vishnu.
Thank you.
Right.
Vishnu.
So that's all for today's session, and we'll meet in our next session. And my way of training is entirely focusing on the practical sessions. We need to learn more about practicals. So we'll discuss both practicals, and we'll cover theoretical sessions as well with hands-on experience on this product. We'll see. Okay.
Any other preparation that we have to do until the Monday's class, in other than basic definitions, understanding the different components and all that? Anything else? Do we have to, create a user ID password? Do we have
In the next session, I am going to discuss about how to create a servers, that is virtual servers, VMware, how we are going to use the VMware, and then we'll go ahead with creating the servers for the rest of the sessions. Okay. So for next session, you don't need to do anything. Just if we have some time, just Google on this CyberArk product, what are the features, what are the latest version available, and how this product features are supported to IT organization, supporting to IT organization. Okay, that's
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vishnu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
so much.
Yeah, will you be
Thank you
able to share the slides or the recording with us?
Yes, that I need to check with Vinod, and they will get back to you guys. Okay.
So I have one other question. So for the operating system, right? Can we use Mac, or this is the mandatory to have Windows?
Yes, using the endpoint privileged you are going to use Mac. Yes, so you need to go with instead of VMware, you can use hypervisor in order to create your own servers. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So thank you all. and
So
have
you
a
said
nice day. We'll meet
you
in
know,
the
for
next.
Mac, you can use it. Is that what you said?
Yes, you can use the Mac.
Okay.
But then we have to use the instead of the VMware, we have to
I
use.
think
Instead of
everyone is
VMware, you
going to
have to
be
use
logging
hypervisors.
into the VM server that you into over there, right? So is that it for our practical?
No,
You know,
we are
practical?
not going to provide you a particular lab. So what we are going to provide you? So we are going to provide you the softwares and the required packages, and you are going to deploy on your own machine. So that will be there forever, and you can play and hands-on whenever you need it. Okay.
Is there any way like you can share some required details from us for the next sessions for Mac and Windows?
Sure. I'll send you the requirements of hardware specifications. Okay, fine. I'll share it with the team. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.